The new Corolla Cross. Fill it with friendship and family. The new Corolla Cross. Filled with life.
iDiskiTV, powered by World Sports Betting, iDiskiTimes.co.za. It's Bafana Bafana 1, South Korea 0. Kumdlalo we-FIFA World Cup lo. Umdlalo omkhulu. I mean, there's no bigger stage than esibukele namhlanje. And I don't think ikhona imatch yakhe yastressa abantu boMzantsi Afrika kudlula le, because abantu balele ngolwesithathu bavuka izinto zobusuku abo 2 bathi bafuna ubukela Bafana Bafana, and Bafana Bafana yaresponda yathi no, sinika enye reason ukuthi nihlale next week Sunday, because sadlala neCanada. It has just been confirmed. Sadlala neCanada on Sunday at 9 p.m. Saniphathele i-analysis yalo lo mdlalo apha kwiDiskiTV. Namhlanje ndihamba nefan eBafana Bafana. Mr. Nkewu, mandikubulise mhlekazi kunjani?
Mandibulise Tasheni man. Kwayona fan yeBushbucks iteam enkulu.
Oh, I thought.
Imbabala, one of the biggest teams that this country has ever seen. Masibulise nakubantu mana masibukeleyo namhlanje kusekuseni. It's very early in the morning. Tasheni, how are you feeling? You feeling good?
So excited, Mr. Nkewu.
Yeah, ne?
So excited. I mean, this is our country. Xa sibona noko improvement ikhona kule team, sibona ukuthi okay, noko from what we did previously uzothi ga ngoku uyabona ukuthi okay ukhona umehluko. Ucoach Hugo Bros funeka simnike credit
100%.
naye, because ke xa isenza kakubi le team le ayina own abanikazi bayo sithi soka eMzantsi Afrika. Xa isenza kakubi sizawutsho sithi okay no asiyithandanga indlela nje, but xa yenza kahle sizawutsho still coach congratulations kuthatha Bafana Bafana for becoming the first coach ubathathu base kwi last 32. Mr. Nkewu, mandisiphose kuwinda indaba mhlekazi.
Mandibulise Tasheni kwakhona. It's pretty telling that what we have achieved at 5 in the morning in South African time. I was 8 years old watching Bafana Bafana in Shibins, KTC, Kukule 278 in 1998. All of those matches were played about 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. I was 12 years old when we were playing South Korea and Japan. Those matches in South African time were being played. I remember one of the games I was coming from school. It was games that were playing at 10 a.m. in the morning, 1 p.m. There's Brazil, for example, we were not there, but the matches would play at around 10, 12 midnight, some of the latest matches. So it's telling, it's almost spiritual or symbolic that what we are achieving at 3 a.m., at 4 a.m. South African time. I did not sleep. I haven't slept in over 24 hours or even more because we had to prepare for this. We couldn't risk sleeping. And I'm sure some of you guys as well haven't slept as well. It's also telling that we're achieving this having been one of the groups of people as iDiskiTV to go to Mexico to support Bafana Bafana. People would have seen us in videos dancing, supporting the team at the opening game as well. And there's other fans who are there as well. Michael Morton, Mama fans were to TV, Papa our PhD, Abo Jembe on the drums, Abo Dlamini as well. We were taken there by Betway, old school. Dlamini, yes, he was with us there. I gave him multiple hugs. Betway, old school, Celsi, the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture as well. So there was something, it's something that I don't think it's been done to the scale to take so many fans to support Bafana Bafana when they are away. In France, I remember Castle had this thing where if you open a bottle of a Castle, it would write Siaya France on the cap, in 1998. I was 8 years old watching the games in Shibins. I used to peel them off. So this is I think it's the first time at this scale where so many fans and influencers and musicians are taken there as well. So it's a momentous occasion. Well done to Bafana Bafana. I think for Tashain, Bafana Bafana have been unlucky in previous World Cups. Our best performance at the World Cup will be this one, but statistically and factually, the best performance was in 2002. In 2002, we won, we drew, and we lost. We drew against Paraguay, we won against Slovenia, we lost against Spain. We scored 5 goals, we had 4 points. In the group stages, unfortunately, we bowed out because we were number 3. Today, we have 4 points in the group stages as well. We have defeated South Korea.
Yeah.
We've drawn against Czechia. We lost to Mexico.
Yeah.
As well. I think we've only scored 2 goals in the group stages. In 2002, we scored 4. In 2010, when we hosted it, we also had 4 points.
Same thing, yeah.
As well.
Draw,
It was
lose,
a draw, win, lose. So we have performed to this level before. Fortunately for us, in the way that this group played itself out was that all we needed to do was to win. And also, we're not one of the best number 3s. We're actually validly, we've earned our spot as well. I think the reason why South Africans were unhappy with Bafana Bafana on the opening game is because we knew what we saw today. We were looking for signs of what we saw today. We were looking for signs of Umufukeng. We were looking for signs of Apolis, for signs of an attacker, Thapelo Maseko. Not a lot of people mentioned him, but we were looking for players who are attackers. Whether it's Makgopa up front or Reynas, there was only 3 of them. It's Makgopa, Reynas or Forster. But what we did in the first game, which was very disappointing, was that we did not even expose the talent of our attacking players. And that's why South Africans were very unhappy. It was not because we are negative. We were unhappy because we know that we have decent attacking talent up front. And at the very least, I didn't think that we were going to beat Mexico. I stand by that opinion. But at the very least, what we can do is to display our attacking talent, try and pose problems. Today was, I said at halftime that I will be proud even if we lose this game, because at 0-0, I felt, Uguti, this is the first time in this tournament where we've stood toe-to-toe with an opponent. South Korea couldn't live with us. We were very dangerous. We were threatening to them. We created better opportunities. By the time Maseko scores his goal in the second half, he would have scored a hat-trick by that point. Maseko should have scored a hat-trick because he missed opportunities in the first half. By the time he scores the winning goal, which we thank him for that, and we've even mentioned him in previous videos as well in the last game, that he gave us something that we needed. He lifted our spirits. By the time he scores the winning goal, he should have scored. And if you compare what the South Koreans were able to do in front of our goal versus what we could do in front of them, we created better opportunities than in South Korea. This thing of turning them upside down, flipping them, making them look at their own goal, we did it for the first time this tournament. We couldn't do it against Mexico. We didn't do it enough against Czechia. And for the first time, we were able to flip it defense to look at their goalkeeper, make them feel uncomfortable. And it was because we exposed our attacking talent. We said to our police, go out there, go and attack, create moments. He couldn't do it. He didn't do it last time. But we told him to go and do that. Express yourself. We said to Mufukeng, go out there, try and create opportunities for Makgopa and Maseko. And that's what they did, those guys. And all we needed was one moment for us to score a goal. And the least we can get from our coach is that put a very strong, stubborn team. Don't concede a lot of goals. If you can, be very organized. But when we go forward, Nati, we must be... This is being watched globally. People who are watching this game, when they watched us in the opening game, they were wondering, what is this about? Like, you see this problem of 48 teams at this World Cup. Now we have teams like South Africa, Uzbekistan, teams like that. People looked at us and we didn't portray to them what we are about. But after watching South Korea, which was a team that I trusted because I've been following their progress in Japan, after watching us here, then they will think we have a chance against Canada because we then displayed our attacking talent going forward. Even a player like Makgopa, for example, who we can argue that is actually not there for goals most of the time. If the idea is that we're trying to avoid Uronwan playing to his defenders, then the alternative is that if he's not going to play to his defenders because it's a risk, then he's going to hit it long. When he hits it long, Makgopa has to win those balls. So he's not there to score goals. That's not a good thing, of course, for a striker. We always criticize that. But it's a game plan for each individual game that we play. And if we're saying, Ronwen, don't play with your defenders because you're going to concede goals. Makgopa, the goal that was scored by Maseko, it's a longer ball. Makgopa flicks it on, and it goes on eventually to Maseko. And exactly what So was noticing about him is that although he's not a goal-scoring threat, there's a ball that he's offside on, but it's supposed to tap in. It's a goal. Maybe if it goes to VAR, it's not offside. But I know that it was offside. But he still needs to have a bite as an attacker. But the coach, the way that he profiles him and he sees him is that if we're not playing at the back, we're hitting it long. We're gonna need someone to win that ball. And for us, we expose our taking talent. And I think that people globally who are watching us, at least they can see what we're about.
Yes, Mr. Nkewu, I know ukuthi it's still very early yokubuza lo mbuzo, but ndiyathanda ubuza umbuzo whether it's early or later. iBafana Bafana size kule tournament siyazi ukuthi bezobe sendishilo previous kwezinye videos ukuthi esi squad so cure around i-local based players lapha eSouth Africa, but kase ujongile Mr. Nkewu kwesi start sikuso ukuthi siprogress iBafana Bafana ukuze babe regulars odlala iWorld Cup and bangafiki pha ba-add numbers bafike bacompete. Sikude kangakanani Mr. Nkewu ukuthi xa kuqala iWorld Cup wasizubala amongst abantu abazawucompete for win iWorld Cup, because we are very far from there, but sikude kangakanani ukuthi iBafana Bafana i-consideration as one of the big powerhouses ezisuka e-Africa yocompete kwi-World Cup?
Yes, I think that's an important question. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from this World Cup, because we cannot escape the evidence of the first two matches. We watched them against Mexico. We watched them against Czechia.
Yeah.
And one of my takeaways, and which was I stood on that point, I still stand on it, was that there needs to be, if we cannot be able to do it here at home, we need to somewhat replicate some levels of standards of passing and shifting and moving the ball as quickly as possible. And if we lose it, go back to shape as quickly as possible. It is I said to you as well last time that our strength becomes our weakness. It's our strength because we can build chemistry around our local players because they're used to playing against each other. They're used to playing with each other. So that's a strength. It's a weakness because we saw with the Czechia that, and I stand by this, that they had nothing to give in that game. They were a mediocre European team, and we couldn't flip them, we couldn't turn them, because whenever they lost the ball, they were quickly getting back into shape. So I think the takeaway from this, from our players' perspective, is that don't sleep on your European opportunities. We have one of the most organized, one of the most commercially viable leagues in the country, on the continent as well. So therefore, there's no incentive for our players to go overseas, obviously, because there's money here, and you can potentially earn 500,000 per month or 300,000 per month, which is lucrative for a player. But don't sleep on the opportunity of going overseas. And who knows what that has done for Thapelo Maseko, for example. Because Thapelo Maseko comes to Mamelodi Sundowns from a SuperSport United. He was a match winner at SuperSport United. He used to beat teams, including Sundowns. I remember one Friday he scored 2 goals against the Sundowns. Single-handedly, he beat Sundowns for a smaller team in SuperSport United. And then he goes to Sundowns, and then it looks like nothing is going for him and for his career as well at Mamelodi Sundowns. And then he goes to, I think it's Cyprus that he goes to, but he goes overseas. And one of the first few matches he plays in the cup, he scores a goal. And as a result of that, we get to benefit from that because he becomes our talisman in the previous game and in this game as well. Look at how solid Mbogazi is. He was solid at Orlando Pirates, and I think that Pirates gave him a perfect platform. He was playing in Africa against Abu Al Ahly, even his first season at Orlando Pirates, and we could see that we have a gem in our hands here. And then he goes to the MLS and gets better exposure, better training. And I think that this is an opportunity for our players to say, don't sleep on yourself, because this is an opportunity for you to sell yourself even here. Because what we were thinking when the players were coming to this World Cup, Tashain, was that Umufugeng, for example, will showcase. There was a rumor, even at iDiski Times, one of our reporters was saying that Monaco is looking at him. There's a lot of clubs that are looking at Umufugeng. Now, if he goes to the World Cup and gets exposure, that's why we were sad in the first game, because we couldn't even open up in Mexico, even for 2 or 3 chances. So when you see Umufugeng at this stage, he then gives Monaco some evidence that there's a player here. There's a very good player, Umufugeng. And the same for Omodiba. We are hearing now that, for example, Utebza, that is wanted in Saudi Arabia. Whether that's a rumor or true, but this is the kind of thing that the World Cup does for you, that if you perform at that stage, then teams in better leagues playing in UEFA Champions League, Europa League can buy you. And this is a platform for them. And I suppose, because we're running out of time, the other thing that I want to say as well about us is that well done to Bafana Bafana, well done to Coach Hugo Bros as well. I kind of gave you context to go to. We've done 4 points before. Unfortunately for us, the numbers in the groups, whether it's goal difference, we couldn't go to the next round. So this is historic, and congratulations to Coach Hugo Bros as well. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. SAFA will use this, and we are all children of SAFA. I have licenses as a coach as well. I was an owner of a club when I was a child as well, secretary of my football association. So I'm not bashing SAFA. But this will be used as evidence of success by the association, and rightfully so, because Bafana Bafana is one of the clubs, one of the national teams, Kusafa, including Banyana and the junior national teams. But let us not think that just because we've got to this point that the work stops. When we were 10, 15 years ago, there was something called Vision 2020.
Yeah.
We were building up to the 2020 Qatar World Cup. And when I was doing my licenses, one of the manuals, the textbook, was saying by the year 2026, all coaches who are coaching at LFA level must have D license minimum. Now, that did not happen. And there was in order for you to get your license, you had to pay for it. I used to pay for it. I was working at a call center. I used to pay for it 3,000 rands, sometimes 2.5. And then the higher you go with your licenses, you pay more. Now, an intentional country like South Korea, if South Korea does not reach the knockout stages, they will do a post-mortem. They will look at where they went wrong. Nati, we need to do a post-mortem of, did we achieve the things that we set out to do for Vision 2020? Let us not use this as evidence that we are on the right path. We did not give 100,000 coaches D licenses without them having to pay for them. And many of them, because they cannot afford, because 70% of the people in this country cannot afford, they live on less than 3,500 rands per month. Now, because those coaches did not do those licenses, it means many of the children are coached by people who are not qualified. They're being mishandled by people who are not being trained. And as a result of that, we get professional players who struggle with some of the basics. Even in this game as well, I'm not going to dwell on that, but even in this game, you can have evidence of some players struggling with receiving and passing and turning with the ball. So let us not use this. I love SAFA. I'm always going to be a child of SAFA. All of us who are educated by SAFA, who are involved with grassroots football. But let's use this as a momentum, because guess what? South Korea will use this as a post-mortem to say, what went wrong? What do we need to change? They did that. We are two countries, South Korea and South Africa, which hosted the World Cup, 2002 and 2010. What they did as a result of that World Cup has taken them on an upward trajectory. What we did as a result of hosting the 2010 World Cup, there were legacy monies and LFAs not being taken care of, or projects and stadiums that were not built. We went on a decline. This is the first World Cup that we've played in 16 years. And we should at least take some momentum from this. This is not bashing. I'll never bash my association. But we have to take some positive momentum from this to say, there is room for us to improve our players, to improve our coaches first, to improve facilities, and then improve players as a result.
Mr. Nkewu, Masiva Mhlekazi, enkosi kakhulu. You said you own the club. You are also a chairman of your FA. Seems like we have an up and coming Dr. Ivan Khoza next to me. Masiva.
Pushbacks, team and pushbacks, team and pushbacks.
Imbabala, Masiva, Mr. Nkewu. Thank you so much for your analysis, Mr. Nkewu. That was beautiful. Masiva, Bafana Bafana, we are through to the last 32 as a FIFA World Cup. For the first time in history, we are so happy. We are so happy. Sanbonana again on Sunday. Sadlala against Canada on Sunday at 9 p.m. Sabescorn against in Patele Lo analysis. Hopefully, we will progress further and further and further. But namhlanje, celebrate till masambeni masivuke sibheke emsebenzini so celebrate. No ninga bethila ndika. I know we qualified.
Afika behlabi.
I know. But for myself and Nkululeko Nkewu, thank you so much for watching iDiskiTV.
Hola Bafethu, this is Junior Kanye. Please subscribe to iDiskiTV.
This is Bongane Benedict Vilakazi, they call me so. Niyazi Bafethu, I'm a coach for life. They are back in winning ways. Please, subscribe to iDiskiTV.